Action!
Hello and welcome to a Strawberry Fields themed edition of Banter Gold. Strawberry Fields was a much loved production in Beacon's history. It ran from October 1995 to December 2005. And if you were a member of Beacon Productions between those two dates, chances are you made an appearance or two in that series. Strawberry Fields was a tongue-in-cheek soap opera. And its main niche across all 135 episodes was that every episode was ad-libbed.
I liked filming Strawberry Fields because you didn't have to learn any lines, and you could come up and you could, you know, sort of be silly and have a laugh and go a bit mental with it, and it didn't really matter. And it was easy, whereas Stephen Brown was very, you know, structured.
With the sort of improvisation, the ad-lib, I was a bit worried to start with. I was a bit concerned how I'd cope. You know, I've always liked having a script, even though there's lines to learn. Yeah. I've always liked learning them and knowing
the security of it is a bit protecting.
Knowing you've got somewhere to go with it. But, you know, we've got on quite well with the ad-libbing.
Strawberry Fields is completely different. The improvisation means you've got more flexibility. You can put in what you want and everybody else puts in. But there are times it gets a bit muddy on sort of when you're filming because you don't know who's speaking. Everyone speaks at once, but in a way that's conversation. That's everyday life, and that gives it a better sense of realism.
Sort of naturalistic Woody Allen sort of approach.
Possibly, yeah.
To sort of interact and everything.
I think when I first started doing Strawberry Fields, I would have preferred to have had lines for that. But then once I got more comfortable with people who I was acting with, and people who were filming, it was easier to act in Strawberry Fields. And it's a lot more pressure, I think, with Steve Brown, because it's learning lines, and if you forget your lines, and it's your fault, and the scene would have to be reshot.
Well, you know, that's one of the things that have always been enjoyable about doing the stuff with you, really, is that you don't give us scripts. You sort of make it up as you go along, and that's quite often very obvious. No, but I mean, you give ideas of what's going to happen, and then you sort of throw you into it, and that is good because you know, you've got some great people doing it. You know, the Ponce behind the camera over there, etc. And you know, you got several others, and they can, and we've all been able to react off of each other. I mean, Sarah, of course, and others. You know, they're so good; they can react off of each other, and you just give people an idea of what is meant to be going on, and then we'll get on with it. And it works. It works well.
And I think it's more natural as well.
It does, yeah, I think so.
I think it depends on who you're acting with, because I'm not very good at the old improv.
No.
I struggle a little bit. As long as I know what the storyline is, I'm okay. But
if you're comfortable with the people.
Yeah, I think it's more, if you've got people around you that are a bit of a giggle and are good with, well, like yourself and Anne, you know, good at the old improvisation.
We like it.
You can have a bit of a giggle with them, and you can, you know, you bounce off each other then, so it's a bit easier.
And Stephen Brown has a script which you stick to the whole time. Strawberry Fields has an outline script where you can say what you think the character might say in those circumstances.
What do you prefer?
Strawberry Fields, because I haven't got to learn the lines.
That's being lazy.
I hadn't really had much experience with any kind of camera acting before, and I honestly wasn't sure how it was going to work. I was worried people were going to be talking over each other. I think at the end of the day it does actually make the whole thing seem a lot more natural. And and to be honest, most of the material you see is made up on the day. It doesn't resemble the scripts at all.
But it always seems to work though, doesn't it? I mean, it works pretty well.
It's because we're professional.
That's what it is.
But it comes from within, doesn't it? And it's how people as ourselves in real life interact with each other, and that helps to make the characters work, I think.
I think also we're there making a series which we find funny. You stick to a script too much and there's a good chance you're going to miss out on opportunities. If we see something that's going to make us laugh, goodness no, John, I don't know, do you have like a book of lines that you want to build and throw into it each time? But
no, I don't think so. It's just right off.
Just
comes
wealth
off the
of worldly knowledge, isn't it?
Well, worldly knowledge is one way of putting it. A load of rubbish is another.
Jokes.
Dustbin of jokes,
yes.
Either way, yeah.
Yeah, some of my jokes have been known to be a bit rubbish, but generally it's a 98% pass rate. Who would argue?
Well, when it was ad-lib, you always gave us a synopsis of what we were going to be saying. So basically, through your mind, you went, what would that person say in that situation? And I said quite a few times, even in a scripted work, I would suddenly say, that person wouldn't have said that. And I would suggest another word. And it meant the same, but it was kind of like each age has got its own idioms and things like that. And that wouldn't fit. It would have probably fit yours, but not somebody of the age of the character I'm playing, but that word would.
To start with, I didn't really like the ad-libbed side. I liked having a script, you could learn your lines and they told you what to say.
Oh, you're the one who learnt their lines.
Apparently so.
I knew there was somebody in Beacon did that.
Although there were occasionally lines taped to people's backs.
Is that why the old paper
That
came?
is where the newspaper came, yeah. Struggling to find things to say, you'd think, we'll just pick up a newspaper, something to hide behind.
Because it was handy, it was always a Sunday when we were filming it, so I always had the big
always
paper
have the big
there.
Sunday papers out.
So there was like the general, this is what the story is about, and you're going to say something along these lines, and then you just sort of blurt out a load of stuff that comes into your head. I'm not so keen on them. I like to know what I'm going to be saying. I like to have a plan, so I know what the person's going to say to me, and then what I'm going to say to them, not this random stuff.
Actors always saying how they like put a personal view across as a character and how they make it wacky and stuff like this. Yeah. But I can never actually look at a character and say, from a script point of view, oh, this is very like timid person, whatever. Yeah. Whereas if you're speaking, you can actually portray your emotions of the character rather than saying they're bunny around.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, it allows you more sort of scope and flexibility,
Definitely.
doesn't it? Because
you can speak the way they want instead of the script writers.
The leading light in Strawberry Fields across most of its series was Matthew Hampton. He played the main part of David Walker, the orphan who came good in the end, and also Matt was the producer of the show for the first 6 series.
Well, it was Stephen Brown was coming to an end because obviously after, I don't know how long it was, 7 or 8, 9, 10 years it was in production, it was becoming a bit stale.
Yeah.
And what with technology not really moving on, or writers or production team, we decided to end it. And Steve said, well, we've got to keep something going for the other members.
Yeah.
And we just came up with my character and the other characters, the orphanage, following on.
Yeah.
And being in a more, neighbour style program. It was going to be called like David Dares and stuff like that, and I was going to call it Matt Yellow, as in Stephen Fountain. And we didn't want to call it David Dares because obviously every episode would have to revolve around me, and I'd have to be So
that might have been a bit limited, I suppose.
Well, that would have ended in a year or so. But Steve came up with Strawberry Fields. Yeah. Where we came and just got all these new characters, brilliant storylines, and.
I always find with having acted in Strawberry Fields that although it's a lot of fun, it's improvised. There's some really serious issues and some serious stories.
Oh, definitely, like smoking, drug abuse, and pregnancy. Definitely, I mean, it's only very subtle, but it still highlights, moralistically what's wrong and right.
I mean, you've been involved in a lot of storylines over the years with Strawberry Fields. I mean, what do you think was the most successful episode or storyline or something that you've been involved with either as director or
That's an
acted in?
extremely hard question, as there's been 68 episodes, and obviously the first series I look at it and I think that was my childhood. I mean, we're playing around in the woods, blowing up Linux cans, having a wear time, running around after each other, blah blah blah. Second series was a bit more kind of, a bit more structured and that, but definitely the last season I've enjoyed more because we've taken it a bit more seriously, but we've got such a build-up of characters with all the history and that. It's just brilliant. You can just interact with each other so much more.
Building on the past, really.
Definitely,
with that. But on the other hand, there's been quite a large turnover of cast members, which is also good because they can bring ideas and new perspectives to the show, can't they? Which keeps it interesting. And also, there's quite a lot of humour in the show as well, isn't there?
Definitely, yeah. I mean, Strawberry Fields, I think, wouldn't have lasted if we didn't have the turnover of characters and the aspect of humour.
Like Beacon itself, really, you need a constant sort of influx of new people to keep it.
Well, as you know, Duncan, I mean, I'm always saying to you, you've got to have this up, come on, pesky kids.
But that's part of the appeal in a way, that there's some serious storylines, but also as an element of tongue-in-cheek.
Every character has always got a certain aspect of the individual written into the character, so not only can outsiders watch it and laugh at it, but also it's almost taking the mickey.
Yeah. David Walker, I mean, what do you think? I mean, you're quite...
He's a cool kid. He was a good bloke.
Great haircut.
Yeah, he was very much like me, funnily enough.
Yeah.
I remember having to do this crying scene once against my shed in the corner. And I had to kind of cry and go down. I don't know, it always sticks out in my mind. I think whether I was any good or not, it's quite strange. But that was the real first bit of emotion I had to do. And then I had some stories where I was getting beaten up by my mum or my dad. I wasn't too sure and had all this makeup on my back and stuff like that.
That's what really got you more involved.
Yeah, at first I thought, it's a bit weird, having all this gunk put on your back and that, and I didn't like it too much. But then, as the character progressed on, I enjoyed him, and then the possibility of going into Strawberry Fields, I was like, hey, because I thought I was going to be the kid on the block, because it was going to be called David Dares originally.
Yeah, and, so I wasn't going to have that, Matt.
Well, you suggested it, so I thought, why not?
I didn't, you did. What what is that about Strawberry Fields that despite continuous committee meetings where you say, I'm going to axe it now, nobody ever watches it, always comes second in the awards evening, but you still keep going with it. What is it about it that you like about the series?
I don't know, I think the vast amount of people that go into it is really good. You get all these the people, like, even if it's like 1 or 2 episodes, kind of, they don't know the group too much, and then you go, right, go in this scene, and you've got to say this and do that, and then there's like the confident people who've been in it a long time, and they can just reel off all this jargon about whatever they've got to say, and often you can pick out the new ones because they're like, what's going on?
I mean, the thing that gets me with Strawberry Fields is, and I don't know if some of the people in the cast have fully understood that it's just them.
I know.
You've got people in there and you're laughing at them
it's
because
just taking the mick out of everyone in the group,
them.
isn't it, really?
Pete with his dresses and things.
Oh,
but,
yeah.
I mean, some
and the bra. Yeah.
I'm going to get hit after this show. But it is really, I mean, you've managed to weasel in your motorbikes in there as well.
Oh, too right. Can't wait till next year because I'm buying a new motorbike. So Dave would be more of a top dog, Abby, S-Hop.
So, Matt, have you enjoyed leaving the part of David Walker? What was it like filming your last scenes?
It was quite sad because we filmed it at your mum's house. So,
right outside.
Kind of looking at it, you think
that's
where it started, and kind of like remember riding my like little red bike up there with my geeky back rack, and various other fond memories, and just looking up at it and kind of like walking away as if it was going to be the last time I walked away from the house. I know it wouldn't have been because I go back there obviously, but it was quite sad thinking that I wasn't going to do that again.
And you did several years as producer. I think you were like the longest running producer of any show in the club.
You can tell I did a good job because the year I left, it won.
That must have been a bit difficult pill to swallow there. But,
no.
I mean, are you pleased?
Added to my moaning list.
Were you pleased to see it win?
No.
Why?
Because I wasn't producing it at the time.
Matt. Did you enjoy the years? I mean, you did like 7.5 years as David Walker, and another 6 months in Stephen Brown as well before that.
True.
I mean, did you enjoy playing the part? And do you think he sort of ran out of steam, or what?
Yeah, I think in the end he turned into kind of like a character that just was there purely for other characters to have a storyline, if you know what I mean. Like, well, I had some really good storylines with like arson and my family and running away and going to London and all that kind of stuff. But in the end, it was kind of like, all David assists, kind of like James with photography, or David goes and does this, or
Matt as David Walker was gradually joined by a whole gang of other actors, and they became familiar faces in the show over the years.
I remember when we used to go down in the woods in Addison, and we used to blow things up down there to reap havoc. It was quite good fun. Then rolling down hills, things like that, stupid things. I enjoyed the character I played when we started off doing. I can't remember if it was Stephen Brown or Strawberry Fields, when I was with Rob and I was into drugs and things like that. Michael. Yeah, at the beginning that was good fun. But now I've like turned into the slob and I feel I can fulfil that role to my maximum potential. I enjoy doing it. It's good fun. And he's an easy character to do, Michael. He's like he's quite a simple person. Has his simple traits. Knows what he likes. Knows what he doesn't like. He's a good guy though. I think he's a good guy. He's just lazy.
You did a one-off part as Debbie Watson.
Yeah.
And she was just hanging out in the washing, very small little part, just the mother of one of the kids, sort of advice. And then, how did you manage to weasel your way into as a regular spot, writing all your own stories?
Just by being there all the time and sort of coming up with these wacky things for her to do. Really, I mean, I had to sort of work it in that she was only about 30, because I think I was only 16 at the time, and I was supposed to be the mother of this 15-year-old boy, which I thought, okay, I had a child when I was a year old, which is a bit odd. But decided I was going to be sort of 30 and had him when I was 15 and all that sort of thing, with Angie being my big sister and that sort of thing.
I mean, times change. We went through, I know in the Strawberry Fields documentary you mentioned about how the character changed, but how do you think the series changed? In the storyline maybe sense as well, but sort of behind the scenes.
I think first of all, it started off being sort of quite, serious, soapish, and then it went into a period of being just real sort of slapstick comedy, really, just really stupid. And then, of course, with the sort of murdering of JB's storyline and all that sort of thing, Des dying and all that sort of thing, it went to a more serious note. And then there's always the slapstick bits like pie eating competitions and stuff that come in. Yeah, I like doing serious stuff. I think serious stuff is a lot easier to do than comedy. Comedy, you've got to get the timing exactly right, because otherwise people aren't going to laugh. So you just, I think sort of, sitting down and crying and shouting and doing that sort of thing, it's a lot easier to do than comedy, but I do like doing comedy.
Now, of course, you did a lot of action scenes as Debbie, shouting at people all the time, and then after about 4.5 years, you thought, I've had enough, I'm going to leave. Why? What prompted you?
Well, basically, I guess I had kind of lost interest in it a little bit. I think everything possible that could possibly happen to one person had happened to Debbie.
She did go through it, the mill a bit.
I mean, she had a child at 15, then got divorced from her husband, ran an orphanage.
Went round with every single bloke possible.
Slept with every single bloke possibly imaginable, had turned into a prostitute, got pimped by a crooked cop, had a drug overdose, had a miscarriage. My son died. Just what else could possibly happen to that woman? I don't think anything could. So
you thought the time? Were you quite sad afterwards, or at the time, or was it a relief?
Yeah, it was kind of a relief, but I did miss it. I did miss it quite a lot. I had one line in. I can't remember whether it was Stephen Brown or Strawberry Fields. Actually, I think it was Strawberry Fields. I had one line in, and I was playing Mrs. Watson, who was Tommy's mum. And I was, which was quite funny actually, because I might have been just been 16 at the time or something. I was playing Tommy's mum, and I had to hang out the washing, and from that came Debbie Watson.
And I was going to say, Debbie Watson played. You had quite a long association with Strawberry Fields, and then into the Parsons and all that.
You did quite a few years as it was actually PC Grover, not
it was PC Grover. Yeah.
That was me. But he was a bit of an unfortunate. So he got himself
unfortunate, yeah. I can't remember how he died now. He got blown up or something, didn't he?
No, he got frozen, but he shot me.
He got frozen in the back, yeah.
You shot me, and then you got because you were a bit of a bent cop, bit of a dodgy cop, and then you ended up killing yourself in the freezer.
In the back of Matt's house, yeah.
And fell to your knees.
It was hard work, yes.
You also did a little stint in Strawberry Fields just before it finished. We got you back as another character.
Yeah, the missing husband of Jan's, isn't it?
Yeah. Did you quite enjoy that?
It was different, yeah. Nice boys in the end.
Yes. Should get you back cottaging.
Yeah, the cottage.
So you were James in Strawberry Fields.
Yeah, and then
James Down.
I'm lucky to sort of catch the last bit of the Stephen Brown filming from its original run, and then Strawberry Fields started, because I know Steve wanted to kind of move Beacon into kind of a profity sort of side, a business, and then Strawberry Fields was kind of like, there was a load of us all around the same age, early teenage years, so just like, just go play in the woods, we'll film it, and then thanks very much, see you later, bye.
Now, somebody who appeared in many storylines, in fact from the show's very first episode to its very last, was Glenda Eaton, who played Pam Hodges. Now, the thing with Pam is it had already been established that she came from Canada. Now, Pam in Strawberry Fields has gone through a bit of a change with the accent. So how did that come about, and are you relieved that you've dropped the accent?
Well, Pam is Canadian, and so she started off with a Canadian accent. But after all, this is now 20 years later. She's lived in England. She's now got an English accent.
But you seem to be known as the actress with the 5 different accents in a sentence. But, I was recently informed that that's a Canadian accent you've been doing, but I gather because you've been in England in the show quite a while now, you're going to kind of water that down a bit now, and it's slowly going to disappear.
It started off when I was Keith's mother quite a few years ago, and I got told just before I was going to take the scene that, oh, by the way, she's Canadian.
Right.
And I did the scene with Canadian, and then I get another scene, possibly 6 months later, and he said, she's still Canadian. But she's, as you said, we've been doing the scene for Strawberry Fields many years, so I decided that she's been here such a long time now, her accent's got to get more English.
Right. She's been through a real hell time, hasn't she? Because she's got those two kids one's got into drugs, one's shoplifting. She's got Leon, the weirdo, who just screams all the time, and then
I think he fancies.
Yeah. And I mean, you've had a heart attack in it, and that. I mean, what's it been like, and what's it like working with Daniel, James, and Neil?
A riot.
Yeah. It must be quite odd with Neil. I mean, it was like, Neil's
something else.
Yeah, he's an individual, and we were never sure quite, should we get Neil and Glenda acting the same scenes? And I think it really works because you can handle him really well in the scenes. I mean, what's it like working with him?
Fine.
What passes through your mind when he starts screaming and doing the things he does?
It's Neil.
Before we tuck into these, Glenda, I was going to say to you that I didn't use a frying pan in the kitchen because I understand you had rather a nasty experience with one in one of the filmings of Parsons.
Yes. I think you must be referring to when Pam was hit over the head when she was they were trying to murder her in Strawberry Fields.
Strawberry Fields, sorry, yes.
Yes. That was the mode that they chose to murder.
You
or
weren't-
attempt to murder.
You weren't too worried about being hit over the head with a frying pan. You do your own stunts, do you?
I did my own stunt, and yes, somebody else
your
was
head.
going to do it for me, but I thought, well, right, I can do this, and I had to trust Tim to not really knock me out too much. Yeah.
For the younger members, Strawberry Fields captured their childhood on camera.
I was supposed to be like a gothy. I think I got addicted to drugs at some point, or alcohol, or something like that. And I still am the most white middle class person ever, and I just didn't really understand what a goth was, let alone what an alcoholic was. And I remember, I remember sitting in Neil Godfrey's flat, spitting chicken soup out of my mouth because that's what alcoholics did. And I also remember very clearly having to wear a black hoodie, which seemed like the most alien thing in the world to me, to wear a black hoodie, and saying, why anyone would wear something like this, and it was Chris's hoodie, and he was sat next to me as I was saying. But yeah, it was things like that it was just good fun.
Well, my favourite memories about it is when I was part of Christopher. Well, I would say it's all based on me actually. Like she was a troublemaker. She was a pain. She was a pain in the backside, really. Next to her, drew attention to himself. Which I did push my own bother downstairs doing it. Which I like doing now anyway. But I think he deserved it, really. But that's a different story. But
what was the name of the character you played?
Christopher.
Yeah, and what was he like?
Well, he was a bit like me, actually. But to be naughty and he's always up to no good.
Oh, I wouldn't say that's like you, Dan. That you were quite a good lad. But he did get into trouble, didn't he? I mean, who did you used to act a lot of your scenes with?
Well, with Neil, James, Glenda.
Yeah. What's your memories of working with Glenda?
Yes, get all that Glenda. The nice ones, I reckon it'll have to be for the Christmas presents. That we all had all different presents that we weren't supposed to have.
I remember that. You all got the wrong presents.
Yes. He did help Pam to get her memory back after being hit by Digby.
Oh God, yeah, Digby hit her over the head with a frying pan.
Yes.
Yes, that was right. And then Christopher, I seem to remember, went off to Canada with Pam, didn't he?
Yes.
They both left.
Yeah.
and then came back for the final episode. Were you sad when Strawberry Fields finished?
I was. After 10 really enjoyable years, Strawberry Fields came to its close in December 2005, and Beacon Banter was there to cover that final major filming day.
Bye bye. I'm at the back.
Oh,
You go round a second.
No, I can't be there.
No, you miss your taxi. Well, before we go, I'd like to say a few words. And I know it's quite untraditional for the bride to speak, but as you know, I've never been one to shy away from talking. No, definitely not. So, I'd just like to say. So maybe please say hello. I can't remember the words now. Well, you did say you wanted it to be a separate show.
I think that's a blooper, but yeah. Okay. What did you sum up today?
A great laugh. Yeah, great laugh. Bit manic.
As usual,
Yeah.
unrehearsed but great fun.
Yeah.
Was that an appropriate finale?
Oh yes, I think so. Yeah, especially the last song. I enjoyed that.
It's crazy. I didn't know I was going to be pregnant either, so thanks, Mark.
Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah?
We all know that no one can sing. It was fantastically, spectacularly slurish.
Yeah.
My second wedding.
More successful than the first.
Yeah, more successful than the first.
Give us your best. It needs to look good. Okay.
Before we do go, I would just like to say a few words.
Tricky scenes to do, haven't we?
Yeah.
It's been good fun.
More looks than acting.
Yes, lots of looks to hairs.
And I've only just calmed down from having Kay sort of sit down next to me and put her hand on my knee, which made me jump nearly through the roof.
Funniest or strangest filming story you've ever had to do?
When Simon became a goth, not a moth, a goth, I think that was probably a bit strange.
My best. Well, I think it was the whole thing that went with the whole bite-sized fire, and when my son Simon died. It's very sad. But there was a lot went into the filming as well.
Ooh,
Training for the boxing fight. That was a bit of a laugh.
Yeah, the boxing scene with on the black screen in the background, that was quite good. At eating the pies.
That's the bit you enjoyed the most.
Yeah.
Method
and the
acting.
cheesy boxing glove in front of the camera shot.
Being attacked in the alleyway with my pink coat on.
One of the most embarrassing things, we have to wake up in bed with my father-in-law after a rather heavy night's drinking.
Des has changed so much, and obviously died, then not died, then been found, then come back, and yeah, it's all been good. It's all been good, but the spaghetti used to be particularly
Frosty
good.
the spaghetti man.
Yeah.
I think a funnier one was when the cakes were poisoned, and the added sound effects that were put in.
The Parsons Garden makeover show, and I had to get my foot stuck in a bucket with Hugo. Apparently it was cement, but I don't know cement that dries in 2 minutes, but it was good fun.
Going blind was challenging. It's a bit different.
Working with Alf?
Oh, hilarious. Probably the best times on camera with Alf, yeah.
Can I just say the one that I've laughed the most at was the art session.
Why?
Like, I'm not going to say why because everyone else has already said why, but it was very amusing.
And he was a very
because
good
we weren't
sport.
expecting it, and he was a very good sport.
There's one in Champton Hill, John.
No, for me, I don't have any one particular one because they've all been crazy. Either crazy because somebody had come up with a mad idea, or crazy because we were just doing it in the street in front of everybody. It's always good fun.
How would you describe Strawberry Fields?
Fun and crazy and fun.
It's mad.
In one word, manic.
Wow, it's been a fun time, and it's all about the newspaper, really. And it always got a newspaper with me. Something I hide behind.
Fun, mad, people being crazy and being good.
Manic, mad, hilarious.
Good fun.
Miss it?
Yeah, just Des, I think. I
Yeah,
miss Des.
miss
You know,
Des.
it's,
And Debbie,
he was crazy.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
That's a wrap.
Insane.
Friendships.
Crazy.
Fun.
insane.
We will return to the happy times of Strawberry Fields in a future edition of Banter Gold, but for now, I'll leave you with some of the cast's rather amusing anecdotes.
We filmed the first series of Strawberry Fields, and one scene I had to be taking like a shower, a bath or what have you. Yeah. And I didn't mind. I took off my clothes apart from my boxer shorts and my shoes. So I'm not walking around barefoot in the woods. Because of my immaturity, I was at the time insulting another cast member, Gary Pullen, and he promptly stole my clothes and hid them. So I'm arguing with him with just my pants on.
Which is not really a very strong position to argue with someone.
No.
is it?
So that police hat thing that I was wearing at the time.
You mean something like this?
Well, I remember wearing that at some point, and I had that.
It's filthy dirty.
I got a story about that.
Go on, put it on while you tell us.
All right, okay.
Okay.
I had this in the back of my car, and I was coming home from work one night, really late at night. I was driving home, and I got this bloke started. We had a bit of rage thing going on there, and it was a bit of like he pulled up and I pulled up, and he pulled up and he started banging on my window. And I just went like that, and this is on the back seat, and he just got in his car and cleared off.